Why is the rum gone?
Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. It's Wednesday, we have a cocktail video coming at you. Today we are talking about rum. And this isn't going to be a cocktail video as much as it is a little bit of a tasting video. And this is something I've sort of been thinking about for a little while. We are going to look at a product stack. Today we're going to be looking at Goslings. I grabbed one of the Goslings Old Family Reserve Rum, or Old Rum, as this is a little metal band. Now this is not all the Goslings that is available. There's a Goslings Gold, which is not available where I am, and there is a Goslings Single Barrel, which is also not available where I am, so I can't try those, unfortunately. We have looked at these rums before, but I just thought it would be interesting to compare and contrast between, you know, our sort of initial offerings and sort of what most people have, and the Family Reserve Old Rum. Bermuda rum. Let's get ourselves started. So this is just our regular old Goslings Black Seal rum with the little black seal on it. Yeah, that's more than I meant to pour, but that's never a problem. I mean, on the nose, it's pretty much the same as I remember. It's got a very, very rich nose, which kind of richer than you would think based on the level of aging, so you can tell they've definitely added some sugar into this. Yeah, very, very, very molassesy. This is definitely not a rum I would probably sip on its own. I think it comes off far too sweet. If you toss this in a cocktail, I would definitely, well, I would at least consider cutting back on your simple syrup, whatever that cocktail is, maybe by just a little bit, because it does come off as very, very sweet, even for a rum. So, our 151. We'll do a little bit smaller pour of our 151 because it's 151. Now, a note on proof. Proofing does affect flavor. A lot of people might think that, oh, it's the same thing, it's just higher proof. The thing is, when you make a spirit, most spirits are going to be distilled, when they originally come off the still, if it's a bourbon, it's going to be 160 proof. If it's a vodka or a gin, it's going to go up to 190 proof. Rums, it could kind of be all over the place, but it's going to be distilled to a very high proof, and then it's going to be proofed back down. So anytime you see, which all of these, by the way, are, well, not all these, the first and the last are both 80 proof. So what that means is they've added enough distilled water to bring the proof down to 80 proof. What that means is, just like if you add water to anything, you are losing flavor, you're diluting. So let's try our 151 and see if we get any different flavors off of that. It's definitely got a stronger nose. You're getting that, you know, a lot of the alcohol. A lot of times when you're tasting, I've probably said this before, but it's good to open your mouth up when you do your nosing. That way, and I'm not sure exactly what the biology is behind it, but the alcohol has a tendency to come out of your mouth and you retain the actual nose. But on 151, you're going to get a lot of alcohol. It's better. It doesn't taste as sweet. Obviously, there's not as much room for sweetness when you're talking about a 151 proof rum. And so you're getting more of the actual flavor of the distilled spirit. I think if you're planning on using one of these in a cocktail, I would definitely go for the 151. In fact, you can even cut it a little bit, you know, use less. But I think just the flavor you're getting off of the 151 is just better than off of the regular spirit. Plus price-wise, it's really not that much more expensive. So yeah, I would definitely put this guy. Now, we're going to open this guy, and we're probably going to pause because this has got wax on it. And wax can sometimes open great, and sometimes not open great. So let's see which one this is. And it actually didn't come off too badly. I'm impressed by their waxing. Sometimes these waxes stick on there, and the tab you try to pull off, it doesn't come off, or it rips, and it's kind of frustrating. This one wasn't bad at all, though. Let's go ahead and pour ourselves a little bit of this. Just a note on pouring that. That had a very viscous, it has a very, very viscous feel to it. My concern is that they've added, because I was hoping that the Family Reserve cut back on the amount of sugar they're adding from the sort of entry-level product, based on kind of the viscosity of that. What I mean by that is just it's very thick. It doesn't pour, like if you see somebody pour water, it pours very, if you'll pardon the expression, fluidly, whereas this has a lot of, I'm not going to say oil, but definitely not like water. It's got a very, very rich nose. Molasses, brown sugar, maybe a little bit of vanilla. Very, very rich. I would say more rich than most rums I've tried, and rich in a way that maybe is not entirely just rum. That's not bad. So it definitely has had some sugar put in there. By the way, most rums do. There are very few rums that have zero sugar added. A lot of the Barbados rums, for example, don't have sugar added. They are simply just the spirit as it is. And I think it has a tendency to do with palates and people being afraid of making things that aren't sweet. Because a lot of people in the world, and Americans maybe more specifically, are a big fan of very, very sweet, well, everything really. I was going to say cocktails, but like we like sweet food, we like sweet everything. And sometimes I think it covers up the good flavors that are there. The sort of depth of flavor is there. With our standard Goslings, you get kind of some of those richer flavors, but it's also very kind of surface level. It doesn't have what you'd call a finish. You taste it and it is gone very, very quickly, and the only thing you're left with is that sort of that sweet aftertaste from the added sugar. Here, the finish is better. The flavors are lasting a little bit longer. I still think there's far too much sugar added to it. Overall, I think given the price point, if you're somebody who's not real into rums, but you want to try something that you think you'll like, but you don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole of rums that are maybe a little less approachable, I think you'll probably be happy with this. I think if you're doing cocktails, get the 151. Just remember to alter your amounts in your cocktail recipes a little bit, because you put 2 ounces of that in a cocktail, you're going to know it. It is going to be a fun evening, and a very quick evening as well, especially if you start having a few with that. That being said, I think that I probably would avoid the initial offering. Yeah, like I said, grab the 151 for cocktails. And the Family Reserve it's interesting. I think for a lot of people that are sort of real rum heads that have been, that are into Barbados rums or Jamaican rums that like a rum with a lot of character, this probably isn't going to be your jam so much. It does have a deep flavor, but it's also kind of one note too. It is molasses and it is brown sugar, and that's kind of about it. But if that's all you're looking for in a rum, then I think you'd be pretty happy with this. And on that bombshell, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good drink. Have a good day.